Good morning, I'm Jeff Ferrule, and I'm here today to talk to you about the new line of pneumatic air hose assemblies that's scheduled to launch October 1st of 2011. We're going to get right into the first style of hose here, which is the Bosflex hose. As you look down through there, the Bosflex hose is designed as only a pneumatic and water application hose. Okay, it has an EPDM construction, which means that it's not very oil resistant. So if you're into a garage, let's say with a lot of diesel, fuel, oils, maybe even some chemicals on the floor or in that environment, it's probably not the best hose for the application. One of the things we want to stress to your customer is look at the pressure ratings of the hose itself. You know, we're offering, except for the 1/4 inch, that's 200 PSI here. The rest of them are 300 PSI, except for the 3/4, which is 225 PSI. But take a look at the construction. We're talking about a 4-spiral braid construction. And that's how you want to present it to your customer. It has a lot of reinforcement on the hose. It's going to give good service life. It's going to be a quality hose for any pneumatic or water application. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump right to the Performer 2 hose. It's got a vinyl nitrile cover. It's got a nitrile inner tube, which means it's great for environments that are going to see a lot of oils, kerosenes, diesel fuel, gasolines. I've been in many truck shops and you look at the floor there, you just have no idea what's on there, but there's a lot of oil on the ground. And this hose will not, it is excellent for that application and it's not going to deteriorate as fast. 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch hose are rated for 300 PSI. It's a 2-braid construction, and that's going to be optimal for any pneumatic service or water line for your customer. Also, take a look at the temperature range on that. It's a -40 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty common for any nitrile style of hose, and the Bosflex, rated for that same temperature range. One of the things I know that our competition lacks in, and in many phone calls I get regarding this, how do I attach a permanently attached end to the Bosflex or the Performer hose? And what we've done is we've talked to Eaton. They have crimp specs available for the U-Series fittings to be crimped on the Bosflex or the Performer 2 hose. So with that in mind, I'd like to go ahead and do a quick demonstration on crimping one of these hose ends on here. First thing you want to make sure of is the hose you're using itself. In this case, Performer 2, 06, which means it's a 3/8 hose, and it's right there also, 300 PSI. The next thing I want to make sure we do here, a lot of guys will take an X-Acto knife, whatever's available to them, and they'll whack off the end there, and they'll end up with a cut like that. Make a nice clean cut on the hose, a nice straight cut on the hose, snap it right off there. And in this case, what I'm using is a 1/2 inch male pipe swivel. Okay? First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure it is a U-Series fitting, genuine U-Series fitting. And I want an idea on where that hose is going to push all the way up to on the coupling itself. Right there is a little bevel on the fitting. The hose should ride somewhere about right there when it's completely pushed up onto the fitting. I'm going to make a mark right down there. That way there is no guessing that I've pushed that fitting all the way up onto the hose. It's very, very important, any hydraulic hose that you're using, that your customers utilize this. It is a safety requirement. I've pushed it all the way up. The black line is right there. I know I've pushed it all the way up on the fitting. If for some reason I know it comes out, it looks like that, we've made a bad crimp. We haven't pushed it all the way up, so there we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the chart here at the bottom. I'm going to be using the black spacer ring. And it's telling me to location flat side will be up, so it's going to look like that. The flat side is up, 3/8 collets. Coupling is completely pushed up. So I am good to go. Now, These little dots right here represent where I want the crimp to start. In other words, that is where I want to hit. That little dot right there is where I want the crimp to start. Right there. I'm going to insert the hose to where the top of that collet is going to match right on that dot right there. Black spacer ring, flat side up. Make sure that's in the right location one more time. So let's pull this hose out, take the spacer ring. Once again, we verified that we were flat side up. There's our black mark. We know we pushed it all the way up. We hit right on the dots. That's good to go hose assembly right there. For those of you using the Z series fittings, there are crimp specifications available to crimp the Z series on the Performer and the Bosflex hose. I've got those crimp specifications. If you need them, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to give them to you. Okay, we're back here again. We're going to start working with the 2-ear clamps. Once again, I've cut the hose very, very straight, nice and easy. For the most part, we can do end configurations like this, attaching the hose barb, which you'll see on the back page of the flyer, into the hose itself. That's one option you can use it for. Another option I really like to use these for are for hose menders. So, our customer has got a leak in a hose assembly. What we're going to have to do here is once again use the cutters. 2 nice cuts where we're going to do the mending. We've got the 2 ears on this side, we've got the 2 ears on this side here, okay? So really we're ready to make our mend to the hose. But one thing you do want to do, we want to make sure that the barb is being covered with the crimp. So what I've always liked to have customers do is just to make a mark on where that hose barb is going to be when it's pushed into the hose. Okay, we've got our 2 clamps on here, 2 clamps on here. What I like to do is to give that a little dip in some soapy water. This is the Performer 2 hose. Oil's okay with it. Your customer can use oil if he wants to do it. In this, the Bosflex, no oil. Okay, we're going to push this in until it meets where that little chamfer is, or that little notch. Take our second hose, pushing it all the way up. We've got our marks here on where the clamps need to go to. We're ready to do it. When you push the clamp up onto the hose here, you want to try to get that right up to the edge of where the hose barb is at. Right there. The chamfer's here on the hose. It's not going to shut all the way because there is a little step there. I want to get that clamp right there. These are the 2-ear pinchers. You'll find them on the back page of the catalog and the accessories. What we're going to do, we're going to pinch one side of the clamp. Feel it press down and squish. Squeeze down on this one, on this side. And repeat on the second side. Just repeat the same clamps on this side here. Let's take a look at the last option in the flyer here. What we're going to do is we're going to crimp the brass hose ferrules onto a Performer 2 hose. I've tested these. They fit over there nice and snug, but not too tight. We're going to take our brass barb, dip it into a little bit of soapy solution there. With a little pressure, that's going to go right on there like that. This here is the 88610, and what it comes with is 5 standard dies come automatically with it, so you don't need an extra die to go along. all the hoses spelled out here do not require a special die with this. This does come standard, okay? This is the 81090 unit. As you can see, it does not come standard with any dies whatsoever. Those do have to be purchased separately. And I've spelled out the dies that you will need for this crimper. Now, which collet do I use here? Which die do I use? If you get the instructions, it explains everything on what outside diameter hose uses what die. So there's really no guessing whatsoever. Once you get the unit, go over it with your customer, take a look at the instructions. If you need a copy of it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to send it over to you. But in this case, the number 5 die is the one we want to use for the Performer 3/8 hose with the correct brass ferrule. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to insert that, and looking out the back side here, you're going to about right there is where you want to hit it. You're almost right in the middle of the ferrule itself. Push down on it all the way. And what you're going to do is release that. You're going to turn it to a 90-degree angle and recrimp it again for the final crimp. Right there. That's exactly what you're looking for. What I'm going to show you now is the 81090 crimper, and if you take a look in the catalog, it's designed for the larger outside and inside diameter hoses. I just crimped a garden hose fitting on this 3/4 inch, so it sort of gives you an idea of how short the ferrule is and the garden hose fitting itself. Now, one thing also, this ferrule here is designed only for water service. It's spelled out by the manufacturer that way. That's the way we need to present it, is this ferrule is not good for air. It's just good for water service only, all right? Just a few things to go in closing here about the Eaton Boston industrial hose line. First of all, use the guidelines spelled out in the book. Remember, when crimping U-style fittings, Eaton hose, Eaton crimper, okay? Follow those guidelines. Do not mix any other manufacturer's brand with the U-style fitting. Do not try to crimp any other manufacturer's crimp fitting on the hose. Many of you have special applications, you might think of some things this hose might be good for. If you're unsure, first of all, take a look at the chemical compatibility charts that are offered by Eaton in their hose catalogs, or give someone a call, ask them about the application. Make sure you stay within the guidelines of the pressure rating of the hose, the bend radius of the hose, and the end configurations of what's available to you for the hose, okay? And the last thing, Flexilla. Great hose, good hose, very flexible, lightweight. This is not going anywhere. I would consider this as our good hose. Like I said, it's very flexible, pre-made lengths, so this is not going away anytime soon. If your customers are satisfied with Flexilla, they're using it for the applications with good success, continue to sell it to them. What we're looking for, the Bosflex, are the industrial garages where a heavy-duty hose is required. So hopefully I've answered a lot of your questions in regards to the Bosflex and the Performer 2 line. If there is any other questions or if you're unsure about anything out of this video, please feel free to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to go over with you. Thanks again.